Doing it. We are doing it. It's happening. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are well. Happy Thursday. The final day of Get Your News On with Ron for the week. Lucy's whining. I don't know why. We should find out. What's up, Anna? How are you? What's up, Karen? Howdy, howdy. What's up, DC? Good to see everybody. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday. I am. So far, anyway. What's up, poopy cakes? Those are my favorite kind of cakes. I like the poopy ones. I'm like, what kind of cakes do you sell here? I'm like, not poopy. And I'm like, well, I'm not interested then. Lucy's probably whining because Chris hasn't finished this week's comic. Hop on it. Which, by the way, guys, LucyandRon.com. Every Saturday, there's a new Lucy and Ron comic. That's LucyandRon.com. That's a new project between myself and Inks Pixels. Fun times. New comic every Catterday. So check it out this Saturday, LucyandRon.com. And you can see that in the background here. Whenever I go to the video, whenever I go to a video or something's in the background, that's a Lucy and Ron comic that you are looking at. Huh? Groovy, right? All right. I'm not getting notifications for recommended videos. Hey, Ron, I'm getting notifications for recommended videos that are MSM. Yeah, that's by design. They'll do that. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Michael? What's up, Emberg? What's up, Emmy? What's up, Christopher? Good to see everybody. We will get to it. So, guys, welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles, you send me ideas, and that's how we build the show. We're figuring it out together, seeing what's going on in the world, seeing what's going on with news. Lucy's rummaging around in the kitchen. I don't know what she ate, so I don't know what her deal is. I don't know if she is hungry, but she shouldn't be because she did eat. But yeah, I don't know. I guess she's hungry. So check this out. This happened. We're going to watch it. Check it out.
Representative Ilhan Omar. Of a really great state. I almost won, first time in decades and decades, Minnesota. Great state. He goes home now to mommy and he gets reprimanded, and that's the end. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, mom. And obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
So that is the President of the United States. And chance of send her back in regards to Ilhan Omar started. And so first of all, throughout that video, the first thing it looked like there was a protester who was in the audience and said something, and then I guess that protester was removed. And Trump's response was, they're going to go home to mommy. Sorry, mommy. And then he mentioned Ilhan Omar. People started chanting, send her back. And he was totally cool with it. It was just kind of like, whatever, no big deal, no problem. Okay, it gets, there's more to it. There's more to it. Like, Ron, wow, does this get worse? Kind of. Let's check out this other video.
Hey, I want to show you something. Go ahead and skip this video if you don't like gadgets.
The leading voices of the Democrat Party are left-wing extremists who reject everything our nation stands for. But again, I have to tell you, This vote was so big. I have to thank many of the Democrats. I mean, that was an amazing. No, I really do. I respect it. I really do. That was a slaughter. But many of those people.
So I think he was referring to when the Democrats gave him what he wanted
sneak attack. A real sneak
for the
attack.
border.
Many of those people that voted for us were Democrats, and I want to thank them because they did the right thing for our country. Republicans know that America is the greatest force for peace and justice in the history of our world. But these left-wing ideologues see our nation as a force of evil, the way they speak so badly of our country. They want to demolish our Constitution, weaken our military, eliminate the values that built this magnificent country. You have to look at some of their recent comments, which are never talked about. When you see the 4 congresswomen, oh, isn't that lovely? I'll give you just a couple. I have pages and pages, but we don't want to bore you. We don't want to go too long. But we have to give a couple because that's the great thing about live television. They can't cut it. Representative Ilhan Omar of a really great state. I almost won, first time in decades and decades, Minnesota. Great state.
All right, so this is the thing we saw before. This is picking up where we started. I guess this is a heckler or a protester, and they're getting kicked out. And this is a different view of that. So we saw it from the other side where they're kicking the person out. And instead of saying like, "Hey, let's keep it peaceful. Let's keep it under control here. Is everyone okay?" That's not what Trump says. Here instead is what Trump has to say about it.
By the way, I keep hearing how much enthusiasm is in the radical left. I don't think they have enthusiasm. They're just fighting with each other. We have all of the enthusiasm. He goes home now to mommy and he gets reprimanded, and that's the end. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, Mom. Didn't mean to embarrass you, Mom. But it's true. We have the enthusiasm, folks. Look at this. Look at this. And by the way, thousands and thousands of people outside and people that couldn't get in. Thousands.
Okay, I think we get it. I think we get it. You know, this is one of those things. Here's another, for instance, of Donald Trump. This is what the GOP is. Donald Trump, this is the result of our system at work. This is the result of it. Donald Trump is just the GOP minus subtlety. That's exactly what he is. This is the GOP. And in regards to Ilhan Omar, you know, when Ilhan Omar criticized AIPAC, many of her own colleagues threw her under the bus. Then later, when she was facing actual Islamophobic threats, her colleagues were silent. They did not come to her defense. And now, even after Trump, after this happened at a Trump rally, the response is lukewarm at best. And this is why, generally speaking, good people don't run for office. This is why right here, this happened. This totally just happened. Donald Trump is the president. This is absolutely ridiculous on so many levels. And this is what the GOP is. I mean, these people try to make it out like Trump's some rogue, Trump's some, like the system was fine and then Trump showed up. No, Trump is a result of the system. Trump is the mirror showing people what the GOP is. The GOP used to have this nice little mask on that made it seem nicer. And that mask was a smiling picture of George W. Bush. And then Trump just sort of ripped that mask off. And this showed the GOP for what it actually is. And what does the, quote, opposition do? Well, as Donald Trump himself said, sometimes they just straight out help out. They help out. And this is our system. Like this is our system that we're supposed to hold dear. Everyone's a bunch of people after this happened that are sounding like they're trying to be in defense of Ilhan Omar. They're saying it's time to take our democracy back. Our quote unquote democracy got us to this point. Are you referring to the democracy that has gerrymandering everywhere? The democracy that has superdelegates? The democracy that has a dishonest selection process? The democracy that purges people from polls? That purges people from the voting records? That hands them these temporary ballots that aren't going to be counted? That calls the election for a certain candidate before they're supposed to? That tampers with the results? That doesn't let other opponents see the results? That democracy? The democracy that has unlimited money in politics? The democracy where the donor class bets on every team? That's the democracy we're supposed to save? No. That's the, quote, democracy that got us to this point. That's what got us to Donald Trump. And a lot of the GOP, like most classical conservatives, by the way, don't identify with the GOP at all. And most of the GOP, they just, Trump talks mean. Trump gives an honest assessment of what they're all about. They don't want that. They want something more subtle. And that's it. So these are the choices in the United States. A fringe, neo-fascist political party that I don't think exists in any other type of similar democratic experiment. Not to this degree. Noam Chomsky himself says the GOP, one of the most dangerous entities going on in the world. Or you have the Democrats who stand for absolutely nothing and are in opposition to the GOP the way the Washington Generals are in opposition to the Harlem Globetrotters. When you have a system like that, this is what you get. That's an actual rally of a president. And what's supposed to be a democracy. It's not. We're not. And, you know, I do think Ilhan Omar is one of the diamonds in the rough, so to speak, in our process. I do think there are some folks in office trying to do the right thing. I think she's one of them. If I was her, I would have a hard time not telling most of my colleagues to go fuck themselves today. Most of my colleagues who threw me under the bus when it came to APEC, who didn't have my back when I was facing Islamophobic threats if I'm Ilhan Omar. And I guarantee you some of them today are going to be like, hey, we stand with you. And if I was her, I'd have a hard time not saying, fuck off. That's why I'm never going to run for office. One of the many reasons. So that happened. And here's something that's happening now. Here's something breaking. This is going on. So House passes long-sought $15 hour minimum wage legislation. What's going on here? House Democrats bridged internal differences to bring the bill to the floor, although it's not expected to advance in the GOP-led Senate. And here's Nancy Pelosi. House Democrats voted Thursday to lift the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, delivering on a longstanding liberal priority that has become a rallying cry for 2020 Democratic presidential contenders. This is according to the article by the Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. They're going to do what they can to help. The bill passed 231 to 199. It would raise the minimum wage gradually from its current level of $7.25 an hour until reaching $15 an hour in 2025. At that time, $15 an hour will not be enough to live pretty much anywhere. The legislation was amended earlier this week at the urging of moderate Democrats to provide for a slower 6-year phase-in instead of 5 years as originally envisioned. Wow, they had to just... We got to make it a little shittier. We got to make it 5 years. Can't we just make it 6? Can't somebody not have anything close to a living wage for a little while longer and then eventually get like a kind of almost living wage by 2025? Can't we do that? Can't we make this action happen? We're going to make this action happen. It's not going to advance the Senate anyway. But before it doesn't advance the Senate, let's make it a little shittier. That's the resistance, baby. Hey, we're going to pass this thing that's not going to advance the Senate. It's not going to get to the president's desk. We just have to make it, we have to water it down a little bit. And by a little bit, we mean significantly. You're not getting $15 an hour tomorrow. You're getting $15 an hour by like 2025-ish, maybe. We might tack on another year. We don't know. It's not going to advance anyway. But let's celebrate the victory. What are we celebrating? Potential for momentum sometime, maybe-ish, but we might make it shittier. Are you inspired? I'm inspired. I'm inspired. You know what I'm inspired to do? I'm inspired to put on a yellow vest. I'm inspired to form an alliance in my community, similar to what Gal McLaughlin did in Richmond, California. Form an alliance of people working on causes and initiatives and people trying to get ballot measures on the local ballot and people running for city council and school board and mayor. Because that's what we got to do. That's what we got to. That's the only way real change has got to happen from the bottom up, and it's got to happen through a grassroots movement that is too big to silence. And it's got to happen one community at a time. If you think things are going to change by some good progressives just trying to running for Congress, it's not going to work that way. I'm not saying that's not a good thing. That's a good thing. We got to try. We got to try everything. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying if you think that's all it's going to take, it's not. Because look what happens when good people do get into office. So, man, it is. Let's see if there's anything more to this article before we move on to another story. All right. The fight for 15 has become a potent political push on the left. Because only people on the left care about living wages. Only people on the left care about living wages. People on the right, they like working 2 and 3 jobs to survive. They enjoy that. They enjoy that. And a lot of people in the heartland who are struggling, they turn to Donald Trump, because he didn't promise them anything. Because Donald Trump was like, hey, I'm rich and you can be like me. Maybe if you were born into it. Oh, wait, no. Donald Trump promised them jobs. He promised them a lot of things. It was all lies. It was all lies. But Clinton didn't make people's lives better. Bush didn't make people's lives better. Obama didn't make people's lives better. So they took a gamble on the snake oil salesman. So no, people want living wages. It's not just some contingent on the left who says, oh, people should get paid a living wage for their work. We're the richest country in the world. If somebody works 40 hours a week at an honest job, they should make enough money to survive. They should be able to pay rent. They should be able to have a decent means of transportation that fits their living situation. They should have enough money for food. They should have enough money to pay their bills. They should have enough money to send their kids to college because they're working an honest job in the richest country in the world. And when you have a system where the CEO to average worker pay is 475 times to 1, that's broken because that CEO needs those workers. That CEO needs those workers. So this is a broken system. Big time. And then you have, for instances like this that are just, I mean, this is just a political action. This is just, and not like an effective act. This is just a statement that they're making here. You know, to try to get people on the books opposing living wages, which, okay, I guess that's a good thing. But if you think this is going to be some huge victory, it's not going to be, because it's not going to get through the Senate. It's not going to get to the president's desk. And it's already watered down anyway. Why wouldn't you at least give a solid living wages bill that's really going to give people an actual living wage if you know it's not going to get to the Senate? And why wouldn't you at least have a strong piece of policy so that that's a bar that the candidates are going to have to meet, so that if we get a progressive in the White House in 2020, which hopefully we do, then that policy actually has a chance of being realized? Why wouldn't you at least go through for the jugular when you know this isn't going to get to the Senate anyway? All right. So there we go. It's a victory, except no, it actually isn't. It's not really a victory. All right. So everybody is getting really into the FaceApp thing. That's the new craze. Everybody, hey, I can take this picture and then I look old. I look old in this picture because neato. Check this out. I can, and by the way, I somebody actually put me in one of those and then they tweeted at me and I retweeted it. Somebody made me look old and I did retweet it. It was actually kind of a flattering photo. Here, you know what? I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. I meant to pull it up and I forgot to get it ready, but I will pull it up and you guys can take a look at old me. This is what I'll look like when I'm old, apparently. Here, let me find it. Sorry. I tweeted it. I meant to have it ready, but I admittedly forgot to get it ready. Here it is. All right. Check this out. Boom. Look at that. That's old me. That's old me. That's old me right there. So somebody did that. I didn't do this. I don't have the app, but somebody did it. They tweeted to me. I retweeted it. So old Ron, I hope I can look that good when I'm old, by the way. I hope that I am still like my body shape is that. And that I don't know why I'm frowning. In the actual picture, I'm not frowning. Like the picture that's based off, because that's a headshot of mine. It's where they got the photo. I'm not actually frowning in that headshot. At least I don't think I am. But there, I'm kind of frowning. I guess maybe the app says you develop a frown as you get older. So old Ron, what should I have done differently? Nothing, Sonny. Life's too short for regrets. I feel you there. He's like, what's most important is that you, as the old wise folks would say, eat good food, drink good wine, make good love all the time. Right on, man. That's, yeah, I feel you. You know, it's kind of a cliche. Yes, but some cliches are true. Damn right, old Ron. I used to say that. You sure did. So what can you tell me about my journey here? I'm not going to tell you anything because then that would interfere with the journey. Right on, man. Is it a cool fucking ride? It's a cool fucking ride. Neat. Do we still have the internet? I'm not going to tell you. Oh, come on. I'm curious. Do we end up getting municipal broadband all across the country? I'm not going to tell you this. Is that the only question you can think of? Aren't you going to ask me something cool? Well, you just said you're not going to tell me anything, old Ron. You just said if you tell me anything, it disrupts the journey. So if you're like, hey, man, the revolution happens, we build a better society, we confront climate change, we get guaranteed jobs for all, we change our country, we don't reach utopia because that's not quite going to happen, but we end the economy of war, and it's fucking beautiful. And we teach our kids and our grandkids about it, and we turn over a better page. You can't tell me all that, old Ron. You can't. I mean, it would mess up the journey if you told me all that. Like if I'm just like, hey, old me, we win this thing, then people are going to be like, well, hey, we win. I guess we got to be complacent now. And it's like, well, no, now we're not going to win. Is that kind of how it works, old Ron? Basically, yes. Like, okay. So I guess they do perfect time travel then. Is that a thing? Do you ever wonder that? Do you ever wonder? So that's old me. That's old me right there due to the FaceApp. But did you ever wonder that if they do, like, do you ever wonder, like, maybe they do nail time travel and you see some, like, random person and you're like, what if that's me? What if that's me from the future right there? Like, what if that's me? Sometimes when I'm at the library and I see like some older dude and he has a backpack with him and he's like scrolling through a bunch of stuff and he's really like sort of like in his own world, you know, I'm like, that might be me. That might be me in the future. That might be, and maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way. Like maybe I'm like, oh, I want to go visit my old community where I used to live. That's pretty cool. You know, I'm going to take a trip down memory lane. Or maybe it's like one of those, the future's not so great and they ban books. So I have to go back to my old library to actually get books. Like I guess I should, if I see that dude at the library again and he has like Orwell and shit with him, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, you're me. They end up banning the books. And he's like, I can't say anything else. And then he teleports away. Right? Right? Maybe that'll happen. But anyway, the new FaceApp thing is the craze. Hey, I can make myself look old. How fucking neat. But here's the deal. Oh, Huffington Post has a warning. If you installed FaceApp, you should be aware of its privacy policy because it's made in Russia. All the apps have similar creepy bullshit privacy policies where they can do whatever they want with your image and likeness. But this was made in Russia. If you, like here's from the article. If you, like a shockingly large number of celebrities, recently downloaded FaceApp to predict what you look like in old age, you may be unsettled to learn what you agreed to in the app's terms and conditions. All right, so here's what it is. Elizabeth Potts Weinstein tweeted this. If you use FaceApp, this is a tweet that the article references, you are giving them a license to use your photos, your name, your username, and your likeness for any for any purpose. Sorry, I stumbled over that one there. For any purpose, including commercial purposes, like on a billboard or an internet ad. So here's the user content. We'll go ahead and go through it. Our services may allow you and others to create, post, store, and share content, blah, 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 blah. You grant FaceApp a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable, license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create, derivative works from, distribute, publicly perform, and display your user content in any name, username, or likeness provided in connection with your user content in all media forms and channels now known or later developed without compensation to you. Underline that, without compensation to you. No compensation. Go fuck yourself. And most apps do this, but this one was made in Russia. So I'm not saying this app's not bad. I don't have it. I don't want to have it. A ton of apps do this. When we're Snapchatting and stuff, you know, Snapchat, we're totally giving them our face. And facial recognition is an issue that keeps coming to the surface. Police are using it more and more. CIA wants to use it more and more. It has a lot of flaws, and that's putting it gently. It's an overreach. It's Orwellian. So here's an idea, though. What if we just tell everybody that NSA surveillance, the Patriot Act, facial recognition used by the CIA and the police, should we just tell everybody that that's Russian too? So then people start giving a shit. Should we? What if we tell them that's Russian? What if we say, hey, you know who's doing all that FISA spying? It's not Donald Trump. It's Putin. Will people give a shit then? And there was a Vice article that came out. I'm not the first person to point this out. A bunch of people have. There was a Vice article that came out, be like, look, the FaceApp's not screwed up because it's Russian. It's screwed up because it's capitalist. Vice published that headline. They're like, it's more capitalism. That's what it is. It's not special because it's Russian. A lot of the apps are doing this stuff. It's special because it's more capitalism. That's the issue with the FaceApp. So I guess we got to do that. But what if Putin wrote the Patriot Act? Not a lot of people know that. Putin actually wrote the Patriot Act. He was like, I have something to write, and the Americans, they will fall for this. I'm going to write Patriot Act. I would pay for that soundbite big time if they just had Putin saying, yeah, I wrote it. And then people would be like, we got to do something. People would actually give a shit. People would start giving a shit about facial recognition. And by people, I mean the corporate media. The corporate media. We got to just tell them that Russia did it. So anyway, that's what's going on with the FaceApp. So if you really want to see your old self, that's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. You're signing away all the rights to that image. And they can use it for whatever they want. And they have access to all kinds of stuff. And guess what, though? Just because it came from Russia, they're not the only app doing this. A bunch of apps do this. And your privacy online especially is compromised all the time. By FISA, by NSA surveillance. They just gave, by the way, there was bipartisan support to give Trump unlimited spying powers. Donald Trump, has unlimited spying powers. The Patriot Act's a thing. Nobody's up in arms about this. We got to tell them that Russia is behind all of it. That bill giving Trump unlimited spying powers, guess who wrote it? I'll give you one guess. Guess who wrote that bill? I wrote the bill. Vladimir Putin wrote that bill. Vladimir Putin wrote bill giving Trump spying powers. They said he seems like nice American oligarch. We let him spy on you. He spy on you all he wants. Russia did it all. Corporate media, I'm telling you, Russia did it all. They'll start caring then. All right. So anyway, that's what's going on with that FaceApp where you can make yourself look old. You can make yourself look young too, by the way. I don't know if you like. I've seen some people like tweeting about it and stuff. You can make yourself look young. Like there's a thing where like you make yourself look younger too. Anyway, no one's posting that one though, or at least not as many people, I guess. All right. So here's something that's going on in California. California doesn't have enough doctors to recruit them. The state is paying off medical school debt. Okay, what's going on here? Coming from Sacramento, Brian Reese's hands were still shaking an hour after he learned the $300,000 in medical school loans he took out to become a dentist were being wiped away by California taxpayers. So, you know, that is awesome. There's an ad just popped up. That's great. That is awesome, but dude, you're a dentist. You got to stop that hand from shaking real quick. Go ahead and walk outside and celebrate, then go back into work. All right, you can't be like, I'm so happy. Oh, fuck. Can't be doing that. All right, you're allowed to be happy about your debt forgiveness. I don't blame you, but you drill in people's mouths, Shaky Magoo. Just saying. All right, so anyway, this dude was real happy. Here's how the article starts out. Dude's real happy. They forgave his debt. All right, so here's what's going on. California, here's where I'm at here. California will spend $340 million paying off doctors' debts using Proposition 56 tobacco tax revenue. This month, the state offered its first reward. 40 dentists received $10.5 million in debt relief, while 247 physicians received $58.6 million. California's program is aimed at increasing the numbers of doctors who see Medi-Cal patients in a state experiencing a shortage of healthcare providers. The number of physicians who accept Medi-Cal patients and the low reimbursement rate that comes with them hasn't kept pace with the rapid expansion of the state's healthcare program for the poor, which covers 1 in 3 residents in the state. So the way it works is that here, and it tells you later here. So in exchange for this loan debt forgiveness, a doctor is required to see so many Medi-Cal patients because, you know, those patients, you're not compensated as well because of our messed up system. You're not compensated as well as a doctor. So what this program does, it forgives your debt, but in exchange, you have to take on a certain percentage of Medi-Cal patients. And it's a significant percentage to fill the needs. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And I didn't hear any doctors complaining, by the way. I didn't hear about any doctors going, well, you forgave their debt and not mine. And I have a private practice where I make a bunch of money now. And okay, so whatever. They're doing Medi-Cal stuff. I'm not. And okay, I guess that's that. I haven't heard any doctors complaining, by the way. Haven't heard any doctors complaining. No doctors saying like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get that. I didn't get it, so why should anyone else? We have a shortage. People aren't getting the care they need. But I didn't get it. Why should anyone else? I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. It's almost like some people are able to see past their own self-interest. It's almost like it's human nature in many ways to decide, hey, we decided to cooperate as a society. A long time ago, we all climbed down from the trees, decided we were going to cooperate with each other. So maybe, just maybe, if society is facing a catastrophic situation, we have to do something about it. And maybe, just maybe, the system's not working anymore. Maybe, just maybe, as school is getting more and more expensive, becoming a doctor is not really an option anymore, the way it used to be when college was affordable, when education was affordable. It's not affordable anymore. The loan system is much, much different now. And it's very predatory. So something's being done about that in California. This is a good thing. And hopefully it starts to alleviate the catastrophic system that we're facing right now. And Lucy's here to remind all of us that the permanent solution is a single-payer, universal system, Medicare for all, where we have the healthcare system that most of the industrialized world takes for granted. Pretty much all the industrialized world takes for granted. Where we have that here. That's what she wants to remind us. She's like, well, remind them. Oh, and, tuition-free college, that would help too. Let's do that too. Is that a pipe dream, Lucy? No, it's not. Tons of other countries have already figured it out. I know, right? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? All right. Just not on the keyboard. Here, sit here. How do you like that? She's purring. I don't know if you can hear, but she's purring. She probably wants to play. Show's almost over, Lucy. We just got a little while longer, and then we can go play. All right. So, guys, here's some not so great 2020 election news. This is from 538, which they've made their share of mistakes. But here's why I picked this article, just because it tells us who's in and who's out of the second Democratic debate. So here you go. First draw includes 10 candidates: Michael Bennet, Steve Bullock, Bill de Blasio, John Delaney, who has no self-awareness whatsoever. The fact that this guy is still in the race is insane. Tulsi Gabbard, Kristen Gillibrand, John Hickenlooper. Same thing I just said about John Delaney applies to John Hickenlooper. Jay Inslee, Tim Ryan, who also, once again, wow, that guy humiliated himself. Well, rather, Tulsi Gabbard humiliated him, but it was his fault. And Marianne Williamson, hopefully she has a stronger closer next time. She did pretty well in that first debate, minus the closer. But anyway, second draw list includes 6 candidates: Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Julian Castro, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Stand on Something, Stand for Nothing, and Andrew Yang. The final draw includes 4 candidates: Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. Mike Gravel made the threshold, but they still excluded him. And here's their bullshit reason why. All right, so here we go. Former Alaska Senator Mike Gravel will not make the stage, even though he reportedly has hit the donor threshold. He has. No reportedly necessary there. He hit the donor threshold. Because the DNC's tiebreaker rules favor those who have met the polling requirement, and he's the only candidate who is qualified via donors alone. So because of more bullshit DNC rules, Which, by the way, they will make these up on the spot. They will make these up as they go along. They've done it before. And what's their main agenda? Their main agenda is to make sure that any peace candidate gets off that stage as soon as possible. Or, in this case with Mike Gravel, doesn't get on the stage at all. So he met the threshold. The teens running his campaign, running his Twitter, worked tirelessly to make sure he met that threshold. He met it. And full disclaimer, I'm one of them. I donated to Mike Gravel. I've given to Tulsi, Bernie, and Gravel. I've given to all three. And even though the people have spoken and want him on that debate stage, the DNC, still with their bullshit rules, are saying he can't be on by the polls that they stand behind. These are the same polls that call Joe Biden the front runner. So this is so incredibly typical. This is so incredibly typical. We've seen this happen time and time. This happened in 2008. This happened in 2012. It happened in 2016. It's happening now in 2020. The DNC, the fact that Democratic is in their name is such a brutally cruel irony. Just a cruel irony there that the word Democratic is in their name. And the whole reform, all the reform did was they can cheat later. They have to wait later to cheat. The superdelegates have to come in later. We have to, if it goes to a second ballot, the superdelegates come in. And what are we going to do in the meantime? We're going to do everything in our power to make sure it goes to a second ballot. That's why they have this clown car of candidates who are indistinguishable from each other. So many of these candidates, they are indistinguishable from each other. But they're all there. Why are they all there? Why should all of them be running? And they're all trying to trick the public into making people think they're more like Bernie. Well, why do you have to trick the public? Why shouldn't Bernie just be the person then? Well, because they're not like Bernie or Tulsi. They're going to do what the establishment wants them to do. So they have to try to win the people over. So it goes to a second ballot so that the superdelegates get to pick the nominee again. And then chances are, if they get their establishment chosen one, that establishment chosen one is going to go on to lose to Donald Trump. And the DNC is still not going to change. Why aren't they going to change? Well, because the Democratic establishment, and when I say establishment, I don't mean the progressives that are trying to enter. I mean the establishment itself is set up so that winning is not the first priority. The first priority, making sure the donors are happy. Second priority, stifling progressive, which goes into priority number one, making the donors happy. Third priority, maybe we'll beat a Republican or two. Winning ain't the first priority. Why? Because on the Democratic side, whether they win or not, the gravy train keeps running. The Republicans, they're the party for the 1% on the surface. For them, it's on the surface. So they don't have to hide. So there you go. Another, for instance, of a peace candidate being kept off the stage. Let me go to you guys and see what they're saying. Oh, by the way, we're trying to get someone from the Gravel campaign to speak to us here at the show. So I'm working on that. I've been going back and forth with them. We just haven't locked something in yet. But hopefully there will be either Mike Gravel himself or someone from the campaign to talk more about this. So let me see what you guys are saying. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh, so Jennifer says Ron should be sad that his future self didn't make the debates. So some people in my photo, which you guys saw, I had a fun back and forth in my photo of future me. Some people say that I kind of looked like Mike Gravel in that photo. I see it a little bit. Yeah. Over the Road Trucker, thank you very much for your super chat contribution. See chat messages about the song of the day. Lucy's Russian is not very good, so she thinks they're singing Old Lady Goats, Old Lady Goats. Okay. Balthazar, it's not even just selfishness. Recognizing that a shitty thing, student loan date happening to you, and acknowledging that is still a shitty thing. Okay. And not wanting it to happen to others because of that. Williamson also openly called mandatory vaccinations draconian before her campaign started. I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with her saying that one way or the other. But thank you for the super chat contribution. Very much appreciated. Patricia, Ron, Jeremy Corbyn tweeted an excellent video stating Trump is a racist. I'll have to check it out. And you know what? I screwed up there. Whenever I say anything with Jeremy Corbyn's name, I got to go, oh, Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah. Let's see. What else are you guys saying? Commentor, I like this. Commentor says polls, excuse me. I said fools. Commentor, polls are fuckery. That is a beautiful line, by the way. Polls are fuckery. I like that. Polls are fuckery. Somebody put that on a yellow vest. That has got to go on a yellow vest. Polls are fuckery. I dig it. By the way, our song of the day comes from Not Your Girlfriend. So I mentioned I mentioned that show that I went to. I mentioned that show that I went to on Saturday where I saw some great bands. The Dolly Rots headlined. The Darts were one of the opening acts. They blew me away. Not Your Girlfriends also blew me away. Really, really fun show. Not Your Girlfriends, really fun pop punk. They're super young. They're just a young band. They're kicking ass and taking names. And they're going to have a really, really bright future ahead of them. The song we'll go with from Not Your Girlfriend's Kids in America. They're singing about kind of the world and how it's like through the perspective of the new generation, because they're part of the new generation. They're very young. They're even younger than the Regrets. So they're a very young, all-female pop punk band doing great stuff, writing great songs. They put on a great show, and it'll be awesome to see what they what they do. So New Kids in America, Not Your Girlfriends. That's the song of the day. Check it out. If you like really clever poppy punk rock, you'll dig them. They're doing some cool stuff. All right. So we are out of time. Thank you very much for your super chat contribution, Over the Road Trucker and Balthazar. Very much appreciated. Tour dates. I got them. July 27th. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. Vegas. Graham Elwood and I are coming to Vegas. July 27th. Tickets available at ronplacone.com. September, we're touring. September 4th, Omaha, Nebraska. September 5th, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. September 6th, Madison, Wisconsin. September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. September 8th, Iowa City, Iowa. Graham Elwood and myself for the Progressive Comedy Tour. Tickets to those shows available at ronplacone.com. Local LA shows, the next Ron Placone and Friends is July 25th. If you're in the LA area, email me, and I'll get you on the guest list for that show. Go to ronplacone.com, email me, and say you heard it on Get Your News On with Ron, and I will throw you on the guest list for the July 25th Ron Placone and Friends at Flappers Comedy Club. Do it! Also, there's something else. Oh, yeah, Australia. We're coming. November, Australia. We're coming. We are solidifying dates right now. We're getting everything in order for that. But Graham Elwood and I are going to be touring Australia in November. Can't wait to see you guys. Really stoked. I've never even been to Australia. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be really cool. All right. If you want to support the show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. For a give what you can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album, including a dialogue with me and Lucy, including videos that aren't available anywhere else, full stand-up videos that aren't available anywhere else. And that's for a give what you can level. And you help me expand this show. I want to do more streams. I want to have more guests. I want to start doing more stuff with it. And your patronage would really help out there. If you got an extra $1 a month that you can spare, please consider it. And if not, totally cool. I completely understand. Please do like these videos, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people all the time. Make sure you're subscribed. Like these videos. Share these videos. When you're watching the clips and stuff, have it on in a separate window where it just plays through so the ads go all the way through. And don't just do that for me. Do that for all the content creators you know and love, because that helps sustain our channels. So please do that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all of your wonderful articles this week. Once again, great articles. Thank you so much for helping inform me. I wouldn't know what's going on if it wasn't for you guys. When we take breaks from the show, it's crazy. I just sit around and I'm like, how do I get news? I don't know. I have no idea. People aren't tweeting stuff to me because Get Your News On with Ron isn't happening. What do I do? So thank you guys. Thank you for making me feel less alone in the world. Thank you for making me, for helping me get my news on. We're getting our news on. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. We will be back next week. The podcast drops tomorrow, and we'll be back next week on Monday. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. So we'll be back on Monday. And until then, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.